Welcome to Yoga with Dags. Today we are going to do some practice with the chair. You might also want to have your belt available. And yeah, a chair and a belt should do the trick today. So let's just sit in our chair for a moment and begin to just land here in this moment in our practice in this space and time. Another opportunity to show up on your mat, to go inside and to cultivate your connection to yourself and to your peace. So to begin with our seat, find both sitting bones equal on your chair. Have your feet hip width apart and your ankles right beneath your knees. And maybe allow your eyes to close. Feel your connection to the earth through your feet and root down through your sitting bones, through your pubic bone and through your tailbone. And from those 4 points reaching downward, find a lift up in your spine so that your spine is a clear, open vessel from your tail all the way up to your crown. And you're connecting up to the highest that you can possibly imagine through the crown of your head. And maybe just begin to be aware of your breath. Maybe for a moment, just noticing the breath as it's moving in and out through your nose. And maybe even beginning to deepen the breath a little bit. And as you're inhaling, you're allowing the breath to fill your belly completely. And as you're exhaling, you're letting the belly contract back toward the spine. Taking a couple breaths like that. Inhale, really filling that belly up with breath. Exhaling through the nose as well, releasing the belly back toward the spine. And just to begin to calm ourselves and come into our practice, we're going to do a breath that's very good for anxiety or restlessness of our minds. It's called the box breath. So with our box breath, what we're going to do is we're going to inhale to the count of 2, like inhale, hold for the count of 2, exhale to the count of 2, and hold to the count of 2. So it's like a box. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And this is all happening in through your nose and out through your nose. So let's just do a few more rounds of that box breath. Inhaling, exhaling, knowing you can do that breath whenever you just need to come into your own presence. So let's just take our hands to our heart center, for a moment, connecting within. Bow your head, setting your intention. And then we'll just inhale, breathing in our intention. Exhaling, sealing our intention through our mind and into our hearts. 2 more times. Good, and then we're just gonna open our shoulders for a moment here, taking our belts, finding a nice little distance where you can inhale and bring the belt up and exhale and bring the belt back without bending your elbows. So inhaling the belt up, exhaling the belt down, just opening those shoulders up a little bit. Always nice to do that. Good. And then just releasing that down. Let's inhale the arms out and up, and let's make a steeple grip by clasping the hands but pointing our index fingers. And lift that up, deep breath in. On the exhale, we're gonna go up and over to the left. Half moon in the chair here. Stretching it out, inhaling up, exhaling opposite direction, just opening your side body up a little bit, just coming into the stretch. Inhaling up, exhaling. Rolling your heart up, maybe looking up a little bit, inhaling up, exhaling opposite direction. And inhaling up, exhale, release the arms out to the sides. Good. And then to begin to open the hips, we're going to cross our left leg across our right knee. And just do a little flexing and pointing and maybe circling of that ankle. So flexing, pointing, and circling. Both directions. Good. And meanwhile, we're feeling this hip opening in this outer hip area. If you want to increase the stretch at all, if this is just way too easy for you, you can take hold of the back of your chair, inhale and lift up your chest, and exhale, just gently come forward any amount. This should help increase that stretch. Keeping the feet semi-flexed can also really help. Just breathing into this. Coming forward with a long, straight spine, staying equal in your sitting bones if you can. And then inhaling to come right back up straight again. Let's do a little arm stretch. To keep this opening up, we'll put the belt over our right shoulder, take the arms out to the side. Roll the arms open, right from the tops of the sockets if you can, and inhale the arms up. Get up nice and tall, and then we're gonna bend that right elbow down, lifting the elbow up and back. Maybe get hold of the rope. Left one's gonna come out to the side, turn the thumb forward, down and back, and then reach it across your body, all the way across first. And then begin to creep it up the belt toward the opposite one and creep the other one down. You may be able to clasp the fingers. If you can, go ahead and do that. Continue to keep your chest lifted, the crown of your head lifted, and just take a breath or two opening up here. And if you want to increase the hip stretch at the same time, take a deep breath in and exhale, come forward a little bit in this stretch with your heart, as if your heart were going all the way across the room, maybe across the country or world to someone who you love. Maybe it's across town, who knows? And then inhaling back up, we'll lift the top arm up, bottom arm up, exhale, release that. And then just releasing this leg down. We can take the belt over the other shoulder. And let's just ground down through this left one and lift the right one up. And just begin to find a nice external rotation on this side at the top of the thigh. Let that thigh start to open. You may notice for me, this hip is a lot tighter. The other one opened out quite easily, this one not so much. So I'm just gonna breathe with some nice sweetness into this outer hip. And meanwhile, we can flex and point the ankle, start to get some mobility in the ankle joint. And then maybe rotate that ankle one direction and then the other. Good. And then keeping that right there, let's bring the arms out to the side, roll the palms open, inhale the arms up, and then dropping this time, the left one down, right one out to the side, thumb goes forward, down and back, and reaches across. And then finding your way up and down the belt, or perhaps even to the fingertips to join. And lengthening through the central channel of your spine all the way up, connecting up again to the highest that you know, staying ever present and connected to your breath as it's coming in and out through your nose, filling your belly. And then if you want to increase the stretch, you're going to inhale and lift the chest and exhale, come forward any amount. Continuing to breathe. Good, and then inhaling up. Top arm comes up, bottom arm reaches up. Exhale, releasing. And releasing the belt, releasing the cross of the legs. And then we're just gonna come on up. And we're gonna take our chair over to the side. And next we're gonna take a chair dog. So your hands will go on your chair. Your arms are gonna be turning out a little bit from the top of the arm bone again. Hands, fingertips pointing out. And then we're just gonna step back a little bit. So you're gonna step back a little, maybe turn your toes in just a little bit. And then from there, we're gonna come into a dog-like motion. So we're gonna be kind of taking the tops of our thighs up and back, seeing if we can stretch really long in the upper body. So you might even step back a little more, find the proper distance for yourself that you can get into that V formation. Legs are straight if you can. You're reaching from the buttocks down to the heels. You're pressing your knuckles, pressing the chair seat forward isometrically. And your spine is nice and long all the way from tail to crown if you can. And there's some nice deep breathing going on all the way into that lower belly. Maybe feeling it all the way up, and then exhale, letting go, feeling the openness of this dog. The advantage to this dog is there's no pressure on the wrists. So many of us have wrist issues from being on computers or whatever. So this is nice because it's pressure free. So where you don't want to be is like this. This is not really quite a dog. This is more like a bracket. But you're gonna just take it back. Good. And then looking up at your chair, we're just gonna slowly walk forward. And then hands to the hips, inhale up with a nice long straight spine. And here we are. So next what we're gonna do is a couple of things. We're gonna find external rotation in this left leg. And then we're gonna bring it up onto the chair. So we're gonna be nice and strong in our standing leg. We're gonna be rolling this top leg out. So this inner thigh is rolling up and back. And meanwhile, I'm gonna be dropping this hip down, trying to get the ankle beneath the knee and kind of rolling this thigh back. And I'm just gonna bring the arms out to the side, roll the palms up, and inhale the arms up. Good, and rooting down through the standing leg, rooting down through both feet, but lifting up to heaven, just stretching up here. Deep breath in, and then we're gonna exhale, and we're gonna release the arms, and we're gonna release the leg. And I'm gonna step away from the chair a little bit more. I'm gonna find that same external rotation that I just found, and I'm gonna bring that leg up again. So what can happen here sometimes, and if you want a little more lift than that, if that doesn't feel very high to you, you could always put a brick up there to make it higher, or if you have a chair that's not as sharp as mine, you could go onto the other side of the chair. But I'm gonna use the brick and I'm gonna lift this leg. So we want our standing leg in a nice alignment. And then again, we're just gonna work on rolling this open, rolling this leg open and up. Good. And then from there, we're just gonna bring the arms out again, roll the palms open and inhale the arms up. And exhale the arms down. Good. And from there, I'm gonna put my foot, so just the heel is coming over the lip of the chair. And I'm gonna walk this leg out just a little bit more, taking the heel out a little more than the toes, turning the toes in. And then I'm gonna bend. I'm gonna bend, make sure your chair is on your sticky mat all the way or against the wall, if not, so it doesn't move. But I'm gonna bend till my knee comes over my ankle. And I'm gonna charge my arms. This is sort of a modified warrior two. And I'm gonna reach, I'm gonna try to lengthen my torso out over that front leg. And then I'm gonna plant my forearm on the thigh and kind of encourage that thigh to open, rolling it back. I'm gonna ground through the outer edge of that back heel, turn this back palm up, take a deep breath in, and then I'm gonna take that arm up and over, stretch it up and over into Utthita Parsvakonasana. I'm gonna roll my belly up, I'm gonna roll my heart up, I'm gonna even look up underneath the armpit, and I'm gonna come into both feet as I continue to bend the top leg and ground through the bottom leg. And then I'm gonna inhale back to a warrior two, straighten that leg, and gently step off. Now we should feel nice and opened up on that side. So we're gonna take it to the other side. Again, to go through that little series of hip opening. So first, grounding through your standing leg, externally rotating the right one this time. We're gonna step it up. It's nice to make sure your lifted heel is in the middle of your standing leg arch. Your torso is facing forward. The standing leg is nice and strong. And this top leg, we're really just focusing on that external rotation there as much as we can from the top of the thigh. Inner thigh rolls up toward the ceiling, outer thigh wraps down and under. Good, and then let's take our hands to our heart center steeple grip and inhale up this time. Deep breath in. And root down through your standing leg and your lifted foot to rise up. Rise up, and you're dropping, the lifted leg outer hip is dropping down to be level with the opposite one. Nice deep breath in, and then exhale, let's release that. Good. And then taking that down for a minute, we're gonna step out a bit. I'm gonna put my brick down for a little extra height. I could even go on the medium height if I wanted to, or if you have a chair with a nice back on it and you wanna bring your leg fully up, you can. But you're gonna find that same external rotation in the leg you're gonna lift. Lift it up, place the heel on the chair or the brick, and then start to work on rolling that thigh out. Roll that thigh out as you're getting nice and strong in the standing leg. So you're lifting up on this outer hip as you roll the lifted one out. And torso is forward. We'll take the steeple grip in front of the heart again, and then inhale up. Good. And root down through the standing leg, rise up through your steeple grip, really rooting down to rise up, being with your breath the whole time. Deep breath in and then exhale, the arms down and out. Bend that lifted leg. And then we're gonna bring it back up. This time the heel goes over the lip of the chair. I'm gonna scoot out a little bit with my standing leg so it becomes more at an angle. My toes of my standing leg are gonna turn in, my heel is gonna come out. My center of my lifted heel is in the center of my arch of my standing leg. I'm gonna take a deep breath in and then I'm gonna bend this leg. Good, so I'm gonna keep bending it until the knee comes over the ankle. Again, make sure your chair is firmly on the mat, fully on the mat. You're externally rotating through this front thigh, you're grounding through this back heel and you're bending. Good, and then we're gonna charge the arms. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, we're gonna reach, we're gonna lengthen the torso out over this front leg, and then we're gonna use the forearm to roll it back a little bit. Grounding through your standing leg here, lifting your heart, rolling your belly, rolling your heart. This top arm will come behind you slightly, palm open. Big breath in, and then exhale, take it up and over. We're spreading through the hips, so we're continuing to bend through the front knee and ground through the back leg, the back outer edge of the foot. And reaching through these fingertips and breathing. When you're ready, inhaling up to warrior two, keeping the bend, straighten that leg, and gently step down. Woo, 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 woo. Excellent. All right, so next, what are we gonna do? Okay, so this is what we're gonna do next. We'll keep the chair right where it is for now. So we're gonna come down so that our hands are on the chair, first into like a little bracket here. So you wanna have your heels beneath your hips, the spine nice and long. We're gonna first come into like a warrior three. So palms beneath the shoulders, ankles beneath the hips, and we're gonna lift up through our right leg. And then just try to lift it up. We're gonna try to roll this inner thigh of the lifted leg up toward the ceiling. Get nice and long and strong. Trying to level the hips if we can. And breathing. So lifting that leg, not letting it come up like this. If you can keep the pinky toe dialed down. We need to be strong in the standing leg, taking that outer hip in, stretching, reaching through the heels, and then let that one come down. And then from there, we're just gonna do the other leg, just to get comfortable here. So lifting this other leg up, dialing the pinky toe down. Standing leg is strong. You're lifting from the outer knee to the outer hip, taking the outer hip in, trying to level the two hips. Trying to take that up to hip height if you can. Staying strong in the everything. And then taking that back down. Hands to the hips, inhale and come up. Good, so we're gonna take this to the next level. We're gonna take this into a partial Ardha Chandrasana. So first we're gonna come here again. Maybe we can come down to here, if that's comfortable. Otherwise, stay right where you were. And then we're gonna lift that leg up again and try to get it nice and straight. Try to lengthen the torso, get strong in your standing leg. And then, so your right leg is up and you're gonna take the left arm and kind of ground it into the chair. And take your right arm here and just start to, press into the chair and start to open your hips and torso up. So if you notice, my lifted leg has turned parallel to the earth. And I'm still strong in my standing leg. You might be able to bring your hand up here a little bit. Try to keep that lifted leg up to the height of your hip. Try to keep your standing leg straight. And try to breathe. If you can keep your neck in line with your spine. And breathe. And if you feel like you might be able to practice your balance, you can bring the arm up. Always returning to the step before if it becomes challenging. And then dial that pinky toe down, level the hips again. Take the leg down. And then hands to the hips. Inhale up with a long straight spine. Good. And then we're going to do the other side. So I'm just going to move my chair. You don't really have to if you don't want to. We're going to start here again as we were. So again, you could stay right here to begin with if you want and come lift the leg up. And then if you wanted to come down to the forearm, you could. This time the right forearm. And you're really strong in your standing leg. That means you're lifting from the outer knee of that standing leg up to the outer hip, taking that outer hip in. And then you're going to stack those hips, one on top of the other if you can. And then get grounded through the forearm. Maybe come up to the fingertips, maybe come up to the top of the chair. But get strong and begin to find your balance. Maybe you'll start to play with your balance. And wow, try not to hold your breath. Try to breathe here. Try to just be. You can always return to the step before. Come back with the hand to the chair and work on opening the heart, maybe. Lifting, breathing. When you're ready, we're going to come back, dial that pinky toe down, straighten, take the leg down. Maybe bend the knees a little bit, hands to the hips, and come on up. Good, that was excellent work. All right, so I think we'll do, that feels like we open those hips pretty good. So I think we're gonna come down now. I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna put my feet a little under the chair. I'm gonna do a little back bend, a little camel with the support of my chair. So it's important to have your thighs nice and vertical. I like to come back so my butt is almost grazing the chair. Grounding down through my shins. I'm going to start to lift my chest up. And I'm going to see if I can find these chair legs back here, which is going to help me start to find a back bend. So I'm grounding down through the shins. I'm lifting my heart, lifting my chest up. And maybe I can start to creep down the chair, legs a little bit. As I continue to ground, keeping my thighs vertical, lifting my heart, I might be able to drop back through my head. Maybe not, and that's okay. And then when I'm ready to come up, I'm gonna creep back up. Whew. And then I'm just gonna come down into Virasana, maybe sit right here on my heels. And just rest for a minute. From there, I'm going to move the chair right out of the way. And I'm going to take an extended child's pose to start to wind myself down. Knees are apart. Big toes are touching. And I'm going to sweep forward with my arms. Forehead to the ground, rather. And just let go for a moment. Taking a couple big breaths. Good. And then let's inhale to come up. And we're going to wind down for a little Shavasana. So before we go into Shavasana, our final pose, let's just come down. Let's lay on our back. Put your feet as wide as your mat with your knees bent and your ankles beneath your knees. Just want to make sure you can see me. I'm right here. I might just move myself up a little bit. So your feet are as wide as your mat, ankles beneath the knees, arms out to the side. We're going to drop both legs off slowly to the right and just linger there for a moment, getting a stretch through the hips and the side body. And then we're going to inhale that up and then drop slowly to the opposite side. And linger there for a moment. Breathing gently. And then with your own breath, we're going to go back and forth. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And just enter your breath and enter the stretch gently. Entering your presence. And then not rushing to get there. We're all going to end with our knees to the right. And once you land there, you'll take your right ankle on top of your left knee, just to deepen the stretch a little bit. And take a breath into the hips, into the SI joint. Releasing that down, inhale to center, exhale left. And then taking left ankle on top of right knee, deepening the stretch. Releasing that again, inhaling to center. Exhale, hug your knees to your chest for a minute. Stretch your lower back. And then finally, Shavasana. So stretching the full length of your mat, feet mat width apart, arms by the sides, shoulder blades down, arms by the sides with the palms open, finding the very center of the base of your skull, and just beginning to release and let go on a very deep level, just allowing yourself to settle back onto your mat. Letting the legs become very heavy. Releasing your buttocks, your lower back. Allowing all of the organs in your belly bowl to just relax back onto the back body. Softening through your belly, softening through your torso, your heart center. Releasing your arms and even your hands and fingers. Releasing your neck and throat. Releasing all of the muscles on your face. Forehead. crown of your head. And just releasing your body. And releasing any attachments to any thoughts that may arise. Just allowing everything to be exactly what it is. And as you're continuing to rest there, allowing yourself to just simply experience your beingness, your beautiful being. I'm just going to read a little bit too about continuing, what happens when we continue to show up to our practices of yoga, breathing, meditation, presence. Something beautiful happens on the mat for the student who stays with yoga practice, even for a short time. An awareness begins to dawn. Having been immersed in an outwardly focused culture, most of us come to yoga in search of something we do not have, something we cannot even name. As the weeks turn into months, though, we begin to understand that we are no longer seeking something outside ourselves or something that we do not have. A powerful understanding starts to take shape. Our attention shifts from what we can get to who we can be. Without anyone needing to tell us, but simply by spending time on the mat with ourselves, we arrive at the conclusion that we are the ones we have been waiting for. This is the beginning of Svadhyaya, or self-study on the mat. Very gently, maybe bend the knees and hug your knees into your chest once again. And softly roll to your right side, coming up to find a seat. And we can take our hands to our hearts, connecting in to the eternal flame within. Maybe gently bow your head to your heart and opening up to the beauty that surrounds you and to creating more beauty in the world as you go into your week. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing practice with me today, and I will see you next time.